What's up, everybody? I'm early. I'm like a whopping minute early. Let me turn that down. And put that up. Pop out the chat. What's up? What is going on? Minimize that. Well, I thought I'd zest it up a little bit instead of just having, so if someone does a super chat, it's featured on the screen. I have my logo, got my face. So I thought we'd do a little something a little different. Ooh, can you even see that super chat, though? Let me see. Rich is live here. Here's $5 for a stick of beef jerky. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate the donation, my friend. Stick of beef jerky. Beef jerky I have very mixed feelings on. Sometimes it's really good, other times it tastes like leather. Not that I've tasted leather. You have a question, Dark Attic. What's good? What is your question, sir? Phage Lives. What's going on, my friend? How are you? Thank you for the donation, too. I am drinking a Starbucks. It's just a espresso or a cappuccino with unsweetened with soy milk. Can you guys read the donations on the screen, or do I have it too small? If I have it too small, it kind of defeats the purpose. I got to make it larger. What's up, Saucy Gaming? No, do not buy a Wii U. Especially since they're porting like 90%, 99% of the games. It's too small. That's what I thought. Maybe I'll just get rid of the logo. Yes, we'll remove RTU for now. We'll, Really, it takes up the whole screen, huh? Alright, so we'll do it like that for now. Make me a little smaller. And, what's up? See how that works for now. Yeah, there's people emulating Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild in the Wii U in 4K. It looks pretty good. Well, it's funny. I'm working on a huge video right now. Regarding next-gen consoles. A lot of interesting question out there. A lot of interesting information about there. Droitzel Glader, right quick, was there a game you were looking forward to but perhaps E3 made you apprehensive about? Death Stranding, easily. Thank you for the donation, Droitzel. Death Stranding was... It just made me scratch my head. It made no sense. It's just a weird game. And I think it's Kojima's suffering from the Ken Levine effect. That's the guy who worked on BioShock. Where, yes, he's a genius. He's a brilliant guy. Don't get me wrong. But I think a lot of people are too afraid to tell him because of who he is. That maybe he's going too far off the deep end. They're like, oh, wait, you can't say that to Kojima. He's Kojima. And that same thing happened with Ken Levine, too. I think his first name's Ken. I think it's kind of going on with Death Stranding right now. Fallout 76 looks a lot more appealing than I thought it was going to. I thought it was going to be like some kind of MMO weirdness, but it wasn't that bad. Well, from what I've been looking into, with the video that I'm working on right now, is that where's my hard drive? Uh-oh. Oh, I know where it is. I know where it is. Is the biggest bottleneck this generation was the processor, the CPU, not even the GPU, the CPU, because those cores, the Jaguar AMD cores, were really meant for mobile processors. And what happened is that a lot of developers couldn't do extra things with they couldn't really delve into more physics in terms of like destructible environments, more AI. One of the games that was a true example of that, and EA straight up blamed, or not EA, Ubisoft straight up blamed. I see a couple super chats came out. I'll answer them in 2 seconds. The processor was Assassin's Creed Unity. That was the first Assassin's Creed that wasn't cross-generation, like it was both for the 360, like the 7th gen consoles and 8th gen consoles, I mean. And they said, look, and that game ran like a slideshow on the consoles. And it ran like a slideshow on the consoles because the Jaguar CPU couldn't keep up. And, you know, another perfect example that I have in a video footage as evidence, and Digital Foundry confirmed this, was Just Cause 3. Whenever there was destruction, the game with the frames per second would dip because it just couldn't handle the calculations that those Jaguar cores. The mid-generation refreshes, the Pro and the Xbox One X tried to remedy this, but you really can't remedy it because there's still the PS4 Pro is just overclock. They just increase the clock speed of the cores, and in the Xbox One X they delved a little deeper. They obviously, besides overclocking, they did some DirectX 12 tweaking to the Xbox One X so it could utilize the Jaguar cores more efficiently. But in the end, that was really the Achilles heel of this generation was the CPUs. Still was the CPUs. And I'm the reason. So even like though next generation, in terms of like we won't be going beyond 4K. But you're going to see new, more refreshing experiences because the processors, which are pretty much all but confirmed to be Ryzen, first generation Ryzen cores, are going to be a hell of a lot more powerful than what the Jaguar cores was. So you're going to get better AI, more destruction, more physics, bigger open world games. So yeah, that was the big. I don't understand why they chose such anemic cores. I really think what the engineers both from Microsoft and Sony thought was like, yeah, the per core performance of this processor sucks, but we're giving them 8 cores. We're giving them 8 cores. So they should be alright. Yeah, no. That's probably what they're doing. They're probably going to put like Duplex, the 1700X in there. That's what they're going to do. Or maybe even 1800X, because it may be so cheap by 2021 that it would just be worth it. So Blade Fang, hell excited for the stream, Rich. Huge fan. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. For some reason, my Alexa came on. Yeah, go to sleep, Alexa. Thank you so much for the donation, Blade. Justin Krislak, Death Stranding just looks like a choose your own adventure, like Detroit Become Human. Yeah, I don't know what they're trying. They really, I don't know. I have zero enthusiasm. I never was truly excited for it, but when I saw the latest gameplay of Death Stranding, I was like, yeah, I'm good. I have no interest in it anymore. I heard Detroit Become Human is good though, even though I'm not like running to go get that game. Jeffrey Tucker. So thank you, Justin. I do appreciate the donation. Jeffrey Tucker, thank you for the donation. How do you feel about the over-the-shoulder and darker tone Resident Evil 2 has? Love it. Love it. It looks phenomenal. I cannot believe what they're doing with it. I'm not on board with how both Leon Kennedy and I can't think of her name right now, how they look. They look like they got plastic surgery. But the game itself looks insane. I can't wait. Cypress JDX, thank you for donating. How funny it would be the whole time the cucumber is Rich's penis size. Well, everyone is hyping the cucumber to be this huge thing. Rich is sitting back drinking his seltzer. Troll of the century. Thank you, Cypress JDX. Man, if I was as big as a cucumber, that would open some doors and close some other ones without going into details. But anyway, thank you for the donation. Blade Fang, thank you for another donation. In your opinion, is it still worth getting a Switch? Yes, of course. I really love to play exclusive, but don't want to buy it and experience buyer's remorse. No, you won't experience buyer's remorse. There's plenty. Nintendo is almost not as bad as EA, but they suck with E3s. In case you haven't noticed, I've yet to have an E3 presentation, even when they were even worse when they did them live. But I have yet to. Nintendo hasn't wowed me with an E3 presentation in quite a long time. So everyone I'm not saying you are one of them, but everyone panicking because Nintendo's E3 wasn't impressive. I think they need to relax a little bit. So Blade Fang, yeah, I would still recommend a Switch. Thank you for the donation to Mark McCauley. No comment, but thank you for the donation to Matthew East. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate all you guys. Good stuff. Awesome. And some of the super chats are going off the screen. Maybe I'll slide them over a little more. Maybe. What am I doing here? Oh, I'm looking on the mouse that's being captured by OBS, not the. All right. Make it smaller a little bit. That's what she said. And make it a little bit smaller. Not too much, though. There we go. Cypress JDX. Also, what happened to GameStop's 6-month Game Pass? That was so weird. They announced it. I praised it, Cypress. Thank you for the donation, too. And then it just disappeared, and they haven't mentioned it since. I don't know what the hell happened, man. I don't know what happened. That was so weird. Yeah, and Leon looks so different from Resident Evil 4. Like, I'm all about changing the character, but he just looks weird. He looks like a Ken doll. I don't get what they're doing with him, man. That was a strange choice for the redesign. See, Dupless, I don't agree. I think yeah, I know we do all the games that were coming mostly, but I mean, they sold me on The Last of Us 2, and I wasn't going to buy it. Rich, I accidentally crushed my balls, but I want to play my Switch. Should I go get ice or play Mario Odyssey? How'd you crush your balls? You literally like sat on them to the point where it hurt that bad? That's nuts. No pun intended. I mean, the theories I'm hearing were that because all the developers are working on next gen games, but if next gen isn't coming out for at least 2 to 3 years, I can't. Like, what are they going to have, a 2 to 3 year dry spell? That's kind of extreme. I could see like a year and a half, a year, but a 2 or 3 year dry spell. That's extreme, man. That's really extreme. Oh yeah, by the way, there's nothing wrong with my laptop. It was for some reason this little portable monitor I had doesn't get along with it. Mark McCauley, thank you for the donation. Death Stranding is infinitely weird. You have to love Hideo Kojima. Yeah, he's a talented guy, but it still needs to be a game. And I'm kind of questioning if it's going to be a game. They don't... At this point, we should have seen more gameplay. I'm just more confused than that. Every time they show more about Death Stranding, I'm just more and more confused, and that's not a good sign. Um, but thank you, Mark, for the donation. Kyle Welch, what about E3 impressed you the most? Rich P4 got some good stuff coming up. Bethesda was pretty good. They definitely sold me on Rage 2. I mean, I know games like Skyrim and everything, or Elder Scrolls are really popular. I'm not a big Elder Scrolls guy. Never have been. Todd Howard is kind of entertaining, though. Doom, the new Doom, looks like it's going to be awesome. Cyberpunk, I have to see more about. So, and Nintendo sold me on Smash, and I'm not really a Smash guy, but I am going to buy it now. It's just they dragged out Smash, man. Nintendo does not know how to host any. Even when they were doing them live, or when they were doing them in the Nintendo Direct way they do them now, they don't know how to host a show and display products properly. They really don't. But thank you, Kyle Welch, for donating. I do appreciate it. Jeffrey Tucker, thank you for donating. Rainbow Six Siege has a 10-year plan, which was news to me. What do you think they'll do when a new generation of consoles is released? They'll do like what they did with Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 started on the 360 and PS3. Then they brought it over to the PS4, Xbox One, PC. They'll just bring them over to next-gen systems, just like they did with Grand Theft Auto 5. So thank you, Jeffrey, and thank you, Kyle, for donating. Droidsil Glader, thank you for donating. Ever play Xenosaga 1, 2, or 3 for the PS2? Those were movies. No, I haven't, but I heard they were. That drives me insane. If I want to watch a movie, I'll watch a movie. I play a game, I want to play a game. That's how I feel, but thank you very much, Droidsil, excuse me. Devin L. just got a 1070 Ti, and I'm super happy with it. Well, yeah, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. That's a hell of a card. Only suggestion I would have had for you was maybe to wait a little bit, because they are coming out with 11 series, I think sometime this summer. So, but you'll believe me, that card, you'll have a few years of really good gaming out of it. Yeah, Duke of Demons. I don't understand why they didn't show Metroid. I was most excited about seeing Metroid Prime 4. They showed nothing. I also was expecting maybe a N64 Classic announcement. Nothing about that. But see, Nintendo's weird because they have Nintendo Directs now and they correspond with their audience a lot through their YouTube channel. They don't really do anything. They don't care about E3, it seems like. I think Terry Crews is perfect for Crackdown 3. And Crackdown 3 looks like it's going to be fun. I don't think it's worse. I don't think it's like 5 years of delays fun, but even more than that. Maybe that's... But see, here's the thing, Centroplex, and this is what people are saying, and I agree with them. Yes, to cater to your core audience is crucial, and I agree with that with Nintendo. But at the same time, they need to show a broader spectrum of IPs, whether it be third or first party, to appeal to people that aren't the core audience, and that's what they failed to do with the E3. I still like it. I think it's it grows on you. However, I will say if you have big hands or small hands, don't even waste your time. But I have fairly big hands, and it actually is pretty comfortable to game with. I thought it looked like real gameplay, Jonathan. I thought it looked like something. I mean, God of War looks amazing. It doesn't. I mean, the gameplay they showed of The Last of Us 2, it looks like. I mean, God of War's on that caliber, and it's out for. It's already out. You know. Yeah, they need to stop with the crossplay shit. I agree with you, Dupless. I don't understand what Sony's doing with that. I think. What do I think of Halo Infinite? I think like Elder Scrolls 6, they didn't show me enough. They showed me Master Chief's helmet. Do not think that was enough. I mean, it's just funny. Everyone's freaking out about. I mean, it's too early to freak out about the Switch. I mean, it's still. I always said you never know. It could happen where Switch's sales subside, but I think it's too early to freak out. I mean, you had Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, which did phenomenally well on the Switch. It was the best-selling version. Over 2 million people downloaded Fortnite, which doesn't mean that much. It's a free game, but they did it, and I see a lot of people. I hear a lot of people are playing it. The Ice Dead Gamer. I think people have to wait until they have more info, because I think they're freaking out because change. What annoyed me too is that every time there was a female character in a game, everyone lost their minds, and that's really stupid. If a game seems like it has propaganda to, promote feminism, that's different. Then fine, I could see you getting into how that's garbage. But if it just because they have a female lead character or a female character in a game, seriously, I heard Hollow Knight's good, Duke of Demons. Wyatt, man, you're trying to sell me on them, but thank you for the donation. I don't think they won by a big margin, Nintendo. I think Nintendo, in my opinion, always sucks at like E3 presentations. Wyatt, even when they were doing them live, they just don't know how to do an E3. But I think Nintendo will be fine. I think the Switch will be fine. I think people are overreacting right now to the negativity. And everything will be okay. The Switch is still an awesome console. Like I said, Fortnite just not sold, but that was downloaded 2 million times. But no, I'm still psyched for the Switch. I'm curious about getting Wolfenstein. I mean, Mario Tennis comes out soon. Wolfenstein, the new Colossus, comes out soon. So things are looking good for the Switch. Mark McCauley, so thank you, Wyatt, for donating, by the way. Mark McCauley, how are your sons? They're good. They are both upstairs. One of them, I think, is sleeping. The other one is crying. When is Sexy Coco coming back? When I can get the actor to finally do it. If I can't get him by July, I'm going to do a conventional Sexy Coco video. Yeah, you can have me on Switch. I don't know my Switch friend code right now, but when I do, yeah, sure. Why not? No big deal. Yeah, they should have had what they were showing during the E3, Matt White. They should have had that at like the Treehouse, like that after show. It was too much to have like 90% of the presentation be Smash. I mean, it sold me on it. I'm looking forward to playing Ryu and Smash, but I don't know. I just didn't like how they went about it. With the Sony Fortnite account debacle, how do you see major third-party games as a service models working on next-gen consoles? Love your channel. I think Sony will eventually cave. Madsika, thank you for the donation also. But I'm thinking, and Mark, thank you for the donation too. But I think Sony will eventually cave to that. They can't not cave to it. Because if they come across as that anti-consumer, they'll start to lose customers. I mean, going to the days like back in the day when Nintendo was king with the NES and even the Super NES for a while, they were the top dog to the point where they can dictate to retailers who who could sell their competitors hardware. And if like Toys R Us didn't succumb to Nintendo's wishes, Nintendo would be like, all right, we'll just stop selling to your store. And at the time, 20% of Toys R Us's revenue came from Nintendo products. And so they had such a monopoly at that point that they could be anti-consumer and get away with it. Those days are gone. And you can't be anti-consumer now because there's too many choices. So if Sony stays anti-consumer, they're like, all right, I'll get a fucking Xbox One X. It's better than the PS4 Pro in terms of hardware capabilities anyway. Or, if I don't get an Xbox One X, I'll get a Switch. I could play Fortnite with people on Switch on my PC. It's cross-play with that. Screw you, Sony. So the days of being able for a company to be very anti-consumer in the gaming industry and get away with it are long dead. Yeah, that's my concern too. But I'm hoping that stuff's around the corner. I hear that the same company that brought Doom and who's bringing Wolfenstein is working on another big port. Hey, Rich, love your videos. What do you think about the optimal time for next gen, especially Xbox? I think the earliest, I'm trying to hold back a burp, that we will see next gen systems is 2020, and I think it might be Microsoft that drops first. What little I have played online was pretty solid. As long as you have a solid Wi-Fi connection, it seems pretty good. I'm glad that Fortnite proved that you don't need to have a stupid ass phone app to do voice chat on the Switch. Tijo, the Fortnite thing is as literally anti-consumer as you get. Of course it is. And then like to force people. So if you play in your PS4 and you own a Switch and you want to play Fortnite on the go, you have to open up a new account. It's a disgusting, shady, shitty practice, man. It's unacceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable. In this day and age, there's no excuse for it. The days of games really like being totally separated by what piece of hardware they're on, minus exclusives, is dead. Well, Dark Attic, that's why, Fortnite proves on the Switch you don't need to have the app. So, you're welcome, man. Thought I'd be a little festive with this. No, Matt, Sony's doing too good with the PlayStation 4 right now, and Sony straight up said that it's going to be 2021. There are some rumors they may drop in 2020 still, but I don't think any earlier than 2020. I really don't. Property is the URL object. You could change the width and height. I'll have to figure it out after the stream. I know there's a better way to go about this that I'm going to figure out, but I think there's a way through Streamlabs that I could do it better. Why does Nintendo do strange things like that voice app? I don't know. Nintendo has such a brilliant, talented group of people there that makes great products. Um, and then they do something like, okay, I see you sent me your friend code. Okay. Um, they do something like that, which is like the stupidest, most impractical way to do online gaming ever. I mean, did you realize at first when the voice app first came out that it wouldn't allow you to shut off your screen on your phone, so you'd have to have your screen on draining battery? Like, how does a company that creates the Switch at the same time make an app like that? Like, how could you be the same company? Uh, Matthew, thank you for the donation. I think Halo Infinite is an open world game. Yeah, the name kind of gives that away. Thank you again for the donation, Matthew. Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be something like that. Hopefully, it is. They aren't going to do some like free to play bullshit. Mark McCauley, thank you again for the donation. The Nintendo Switch is a perfect game console for employed adults. That's very true. I put my Nintendo Switch in my pocket when I travel to work. Yeah, I agree with you, man. That's one thing I like about the Switch quite a bit. Oh my gosh, Rich, really what? I would say you should email me your friend codes, but there's something wrong with my email because my web hosting service is garbage, which I'm sure there's plenty of people that are getting pissed off at me and think I'm ignoring their emails right now, but yeah, Mark, the Switch is definitely good for that, man. I carry my Switch in a case. I wouldn't carry it in my pocket, but hey, I'm down with an open world Halo game so long as it's not like a free to play microtransaction. I don't think Microsoft would do that to their biggest franchise though. I hope anyway. Are they Overlord? You know what, Overlord? You know what's funny about the Vega GPUs is that they were kind of. You ever notice that Polaris never came out? Um, and Vega kind of was like an afterthought because they're working on Navi for the PS5 and next Xbox. So, and there's more money in PS next making money for making processor GPUs for consoles and CPUs than there is in just selling dedicated GPUs. Well, the cryptocurrency market's like imploding right now. Thank you, TechBit, for the donation. By that, the cryptocurrency market's imploding right now. So, yeah, the prices of RAM and stuff are going back down. Let me see something real quick. Did I put it? Oh, I screwed up. Polaris was the 400 series GPUs from AMD. I actually own a 480. Um, TechBit, Amazon is restocking Asus Strix 1080 Ti's for MSRP. Um, Droidsel, have a good night. But they didn't put as much into like the Vega from I believe it was from Polaris to Vega. Now I have all my resources. I'm going off the top of my head right now, so I could be wrong. But from Polaris to Vega was only a 1% to 5% increase in performance. That's why Vega GPUs aren't keeping up toe to toe with the 1070 and 1080 right now. in terms of performance. But the reason why that's happening, and they didn't focus as much on Vega as they want, as you would think, AMD, is because they're working on Navi to get it ready for next gen consoles. When do you think a 4K Nintendo Switch will be coming out? Not anytime soon, but I do expect around the same time next generation consoles launch. That we'll see an upgraded Switch, like a new Nintendo Switch, like they had a new Nintendo 3DS. So, okay. So, what is the 400, like the RX 480, based on? What's up, Sean McCarthy? See, this is the part of the video because I just, where I'm at in the video that I'm working on right now, it's probably going to be half an hour long. But I talked about CPUs, where I talked about the Jaguar cores and how they were a big limiting factor with games this generation. And I'm talking about how the first generation Ryzen processors are probably going to be in the next gen system. It's pretty much guaranteed they are. But I haven't recorded yet. I have my materials together for it, but I haven't recorded yet the GPU side of things for next gen consoles. Okay. Yes, you know what, I remember that now, Daniel, because I remember Linus Tech Tips reviewing the RX 500 an RX 500 series card and saying like, yeah, it's not that big of a jump from the 400. Yes, you're right. You're right. You're right. Thank you, Draw. And ooh, I missed something from Main Tomato. Is a GTX 1050 good for 1080p gaming with 30 to 60? Yes, absolutely. And when would you recommend an upgrade? If you're just looking to stay like medium to high settings at 1080p for a while, Main Tomato, you could get a couple years out of a 1050 Ti. I wouldn't get a 1050 because a lot of games, 2 gigabytes of VRAM isn't enough for modern games. Excuse me. But a 1050 Ti is a good choice for a card if you want a budget gaming card. So, and if you don't mind being at like medium to high settings, just a 1080p, it'll last you a while. So thank you, Main Tomato. SWW Productions, hi Rich, keep up the good work. Love the videos. Thank you very much, SWW. I do appreciate the donation. And again, guys, like I said, to let you know, there's no misinformation in the video that I'm working on. I didn't even get to that part yet. Yeah, T. Joe is right. That's why Halo 5 wasn't part of that whole Play Anywhere where you can play on your PC too as well. Leader of Bats, thank you for the donation. Should I return my Xbox 360 to GameStop? It sounds like a jet about to take off, or is it normal as they age? I got a refurbished one. No, I would get it. No, that shouldn't sound that loud. Which one do you have? 360E? That's the newest one. No, that should be super quiet, dude. Return that right away. Well, Hunter eats Hunter. If they could get modern games to run on Switch, I'm sure they could get them run on the Atari VCS. I'm just, it's just, I don't see the use of the Atari VCS. Yeah, I would not. Yeah, especially the newest one, the 360E. That thing should be whisper quiet, Leader of Bats. What that sounds like to me is maybe the the heatsink that's on the processor maybe isn't fully connecting. Does it sound, if this fan doesn't sound like it's grinding and it just sounds like the fan is spinning full tilt, one of two things. It's either dirty and the fan can't cool properly, so it's spinning harder to try to get the airflow, or the heatsink isn't properly placed on top of the processor, so it's getting hotter, and the motherboard of the 360 is detecting the temperatures getting high. So because the heatsink isn't properly placed on there with thermal paste, it's speeding up the fan to try to compensate. What, please? What? If I start reviewing boobs on my channel, I wouldn't have a channel anymore. Have you seen how Fortnite? It's funny. I first got Fortnite the day that it was announced by Reggie on E3, and then it said I couldn't log in. Centroplex. I'll see you later, my man. Thank you. There's been worse E3s. Always remember there were the E3s that were all about motion controls. Those were dark times for the gaming industry. If you don't believe me, go watch Crobcat's video. You could donate via the super chat button, which is a $ below where you type in the chat. Thank you, SWW. For you guys wondering what I've been doing too, it's not that I've been. It's not like I took a break and was scratching my ass for the past few days. Me and a buddy of mine have been setting up the other half of my office to finally start that live streaming show, and things are fully underway. We did a whole bunch of stuff with lighting. We built some furniture, and now we're brainstorming how the show is going to take place. So we're almost there. Yes, I will be going back to filming myself, but we got some more stuff we got to do. So thank you, SWW. I do appreciate that. Leader of Bats. Also, it only gets loud when a disc is playing. Yeah, I would still get that checked and replaced, Leader of Bats. That sounds like something's wrong. That's a lot of ass to scratch, period. Thank you. Yes, I will, Razical. I'll be doing a video on that. I want to get this video up on next-gen consoles first. I didn't like Halo 4. I tried. I just couldn't get into it. Any advice for a guy who doesn't know what to do with his life? You just got to find something that you're interested in, man. And don't do something just to make money. Obviously, you have to pay bills and survive. I'm not saying don't work, but try to find something you truly enjoy, because then it'll make it much easier to wake up and go to work every day. Jay Ant, thank you for donating. Will new consoles have to take risks to beat Switch? No, I think we're going to still see conventional consoles from the next-gen PlayStation and the next-gen Xbox. I just think they're going to be... I think they're going to be smarter with the architecture this time. I think the reason why they had such anemic CPUs inside of both the Xbox One and PS4, obviously for cost, and I think they were trying to be power efficient. That's what I think. Really think that what Sony and Microsoft thought was like, okay, the per core performance of these Jaguar AMD processors sucks, but we're gonna have 8 cores, so developers should be able to find a way to work around, because they could put 8 threads of code running through the processor, but it still didn't work. Sony's being asked radical, man. So Razzle Amin. Sony's being an ass. There's no reason for them to do that. It's a free-to-play game that cross-platform should be on PlayStation as well. No, Mad Sika. Because the reason why the Switch is working as well is that it's Nintendo's main. It's a home console too, as well as a portable console. They couldn't have like a PS5 and a PlayStation Switch, because then what are you gonna? If you have it that it's a hybrid, then you're gonna have this hybrid console compete with your PlayStation 5. So it's like a cannibalistic market business strategy. It wouldn't work. Calance W, thank you for the donation. Do appreciate it. Ivan Garcia, what gets you worried about next gen? I don't think anything gets me worried about next gen. I do think that's finally. I know I said this with this current generation. I know people love to throw it in my face, which is fine because it was my own fault because I was very bullish on it and was, oh, it's going to happen. Everyone's going to be digital distribution. But I do think like halfway through the next generation, I know I sound like I'm repeating myself like a broken record. I said it with the 8th generation. We're going to finally see most games being purchased via digital distribution. Which I guess if you want to say that if there's anything I'm worried about, that would be something that I'm worried about. Why are Facebook messages showing up on here? So if anything I'm worried about is I'm not entirely a fan of everything going over to like cloud gaming and digital distribution, but I know we're heading down that path. So thank you, Ivan. I do appreciate that. Jim W, thank you very much. I don't watch you, sir, but you helped my son with his depression. Thank you, sir. Well, thank you very much. I do. That's awesome. It's amazing to hear something like that. And thank you, Jim, for the donation. I know what it's like to escape from anxiety and depression by watching someone on YouTube, because when I was going through a dark time, that's kind of what helped me too. So I know how you could be very appreciative of that. So thank you, Jim. It's good to know that. All right, for now I'm going to have to temporarily close down this window. Make this bigger for now. Sorry, guys. Taku Tiago. Hey, Rich, I have a GTX 1050 and GTX 950. Both GPUs have the same performance and same 2 GB RAM GDDR5. You should get better performance with the 1050, but okay. But my GTX 1050 SSC is an SLI. Get twice better performance than... Well, yeah, if you have an SLI, of course your 950 is going to give you better performance. I remember the 950 by itself not being that great of a card, if I do remember. Well, that's why it's going to take a while, and I think that's the biggest thing. Is not everyone's internet connection, and that was a thing that I think a lot of people. I mean, I took that into account when I made my predictions, but I thought the internet across the world and even in the United States would have evolved more. But we still need a lot of time because there's data caps. People have terrible upload and download speed still. So to ask them to download an 80 gigabyte game now, and games are getting up to 100 plus 120 gigabytes is ridiculous. There's no way you could do it. So there's still, I assure you this, and I'm going to say this in the video that I'm working on. There's going to be plenty of reasons to have, there's going to be optical drives in the next Xbox and the next PlayStation. So, Jonan 560 Ti, nice name. I remember being psyched getting my 560 Ti. I got it for Battlefield 3. Do you feel it's easier identifying as a gamer now than when you made your "Why I Hate the Word Gamer" video a few years ago? Gamer still has that stigma to it. Interesting that you mentioned that. Gamer still has that. Oh, you're a gamer, like kind of like that. You're an introverted, antisocial person that's out of touch with what's going on in the world. So I don't think that's changed that much. So, I kind of feel the same way, Jonan. Good question. Thank you for donating. SWW Productions, Manhunt, being a shark sounds great. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm sorry. But thank you, SWW, for the donation. Richie, is that you? Don't put the switch codes here, guys. Well, one, you don't want any weirdos getting your switch codes that you may not want trying to friend you. I mean, no offense. I'm not saying someone here is a weirdo. You all could be absolutely awesome, but you never know who's lurking. Secondly, I'm not going to be able to save them right now. What I will tell you is when my email is working again, if it ever fucking works again. I hate my web hosting service so much. I'll tell you to send them there. TechBit, thank you for. I know what you're going through with Comcast. I'm going to tell you a story about Comcast. Now, Comcast needs more upload speeds. I get 200 D6 upload. Well, funny you should mention that because I had Verizon. I have Verizon now again. I don't really have a choice because that's part of the problem with internet in the United States is that it's at best a duopoly, and depending where you live. Verizon pissed me off. My only other option was going to Comcast. So we go to Comcast, and the saleswoman there was like, I'm like, look, I'm going to be starting to do 4K streaming. I'm like, I need fast upload speeds. I said upload to her, and my fiance asked, okay, what are the upload and download speeds? She goes, oh, we have a plan that you could do 200 upload and download. Great. Perfect. Boom. Sign up. Technician comes to the house. To this day, the technician was a nice guy, professional, fantastic dude. And he sets up the new modem. He puts new wiring in. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, sweet. He's like, yeah, man, just test out the internet, see how it's working. So the first thing I go to is to speedtest.net, and download speed. I'm getting like higher than 200. I'm getting like 220 or some 220 megabits per second download. I'm like, damn, man, I'm getting better than you advertised. Then it goes to upload, and it's pinned at 12 megabits per second. I'm like, what the fuck? And I guess I was like, look, the upload speeds aren't that fast. Like, that's an understatement. Like, maybe what's going on? It's like, oh, maybe the router needs a firmware update. And it did. So it reset, and I'm thinking, all right, sweet. Now I'll get the 200 uploads. Go to speedtest.net again. I'm getting 12 megabits per second again for uploads. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I talked to him like, look, man, I'm getting 200 downloads, beyond 200. I'm getting faster than advertised, but for uploads, I'm only getting 12 megabits per second. He's like, yeah, that's the fastest they offer for residential Comcast. I'm like, what? I was like, is there any kind of business plan I could get or something like that goes higher speeds? He's like, I think the max they offer for, high speed for a business is 25. I'm like, yeah, I can't take this internet. Like, I have to deny signing up for a plan. He's like, yeah, man, I understand. I'm sorry. I explained to him, like, look, the girl told my fiance, we specifically asked her what uploads and downloads were. And he's like, oh, man, she shouldn't have said that, blah, 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 blah. And, then I had no choice but to go back to Verizon. So yeah, that was a long-winded story, but yeah, that's TechBit. That's why you got that story. Ivan Garcia, predictions on sales numbers for next gen. I don't. That's a good one, Ivan. I don't know. Thank you for the donation. I mean, we have to see what it'll be interesting to see, because everyone had kind of thought that people were predicting for a while that the PS4 would outsell the PS2, but that's kind of getting tougher and tougher for it to do. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll have to see how. I want to see what they offer, what the pricing is. Hopefully Sony doesn't pull what Microsoft did with the E3 2013 and screw up how people perceive the PS5. Verizon's customer service sucks, though. Verizon's customer service is beyond shit. Has my stance changed on a new Dreamcast system? No, they're never going to do it. No, it hasn't changed. Sega's like, as a whole company, is kind of faltering right now. I mean, they're not in as horrible shape as they were even a couple years ago, but they don't. You know how much resources and our research and development and costs and advertising costs it gets to get a system off the ground. They can't do it. Maybe they may work with someone to make a Dreamcast classic. Hopefully it won't be at games, but in terms of a new system, like a next gen or current gen console, no way. No way. But thank you, Kellance, for the donation. I do appreciate it. Well, keep in mind, though, Dale, Microsoft is still way behind with sales. They're still way. They're like, what, at 30-something million, and Sony's at 77 million in terms of worldwide sales figures for current-gen consoles. Tiberius Monk 84, thank you for donating. What are your thoughts about the PS4 and Fortnite situation? Oh God, excuse me for yawning. I'm sorry. I solely watched you watched you, Rich, for E3, and I was happy. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much, man. I do appreciate that. It was a lot of fun streaming E3. A lot of fun streaming E3. Well, it was streaming that much over a period of just a few days gets a little draining, but it was still a lot of fun. I'll definitely do it again next year. I'll probably go to E3 next year. Matter of fact, I definitely will. Thank you very much, Tiberius, for the donation. I appreciate you watching the show, too. Yeah, Nintendo E3 wasn't anything great. Yes, eventually I will start that up again. I have to get my other side. I have to get my office back in order, though. It's a complete friggin' disaster right now. Complete disaster. Apex, you were noticed. Yeah, Stimson. I'm not saying that I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form that the Xbox One or Xbox consoles this 8th generation is a complete failure or a failure at all. It's not. But I'm sure that Microsoft wanted the numbers to be quite a bit higher. Yes, Reggie was still sexy, Sean. Especially when he was holding his Pokeballs. Yes, Anthony, I totally agree with you. There's no reason Sony should be doing what they're doing with crossplay. At all. Yeah, Square Enix wasn't anything. I didn't take apart my office. The half of my office you guys saw was the only half that was set up. The other half was just like boxes, and maybe I'd have a table I'd do one thing on or another thing on. It never was set up. We're finally doing the live stream setup that I wanted to do since the beginning. Nothing's changing with my other format. The only reason I'm doing gameplay right now is my other part of the office where the boxes were is on the side I film on. Like my camera's taken down right now. It's going to be put back up. We changed the lighting system. The lighting system used to be on the floor. It used to be a whole bunch of tripods. You used to trip over them. Now we have the lights hanging from the ceiling. We set up an entertainment center where the consoles are going to go and where I'm going to stream games from the office. The other part we're going to set up is where the show, like the live show is going to be, where I'm going to have like a professional looking table with like a LED or neon sign, even though it's not neon, it's LED behind me, and doing a bunch of stuff, man. Whole bunch of stuff. Angel, your name is said. Yes, Microsoft's E3 was good. It was good. A lot of third-party stuff, but they're trying Microsoft. They are. Am I sweating? Yeah, I am sweating. Because it's going to be a hot-ass weekend here this weekend. Guilty Sin Joy, have a good night. You're welcome. I'm only using 18% of my CPU right now. I really think the biggest Achilles heel, it's actually pretty much confirmed. The biggest Achilles heel of 8th gen consoles was the anemic CPUs. You're going to see consoles in 2020. That's when you're going to see them. Resident Evil 2 looks pretty badass, yes. Phil Spencer and Red, you're just too goddamn sexy. I agree, Sean. Especially Phil, he must take 3 hours to do his hair in the morning. I tried to play Fortnite on Switch, but I couldn't log in. It was weird. And I don't have a PS4 account, so I'm not sure what's up. Adder, thank you for donating. Hey, Rich, love your stuff as usual. What's your thoughts on the current state of PC gaming and the extreme price hikes in PC parts due to Bitcoin mining? Well, the prices are starting to subside, Adar, because the cryptocurrencies are imploding right now. But, PC part, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of years. I don't think we haven't seen the last of cryptocurrencies. I'm hoping that AMD and Nvidia step in to curb it next time there's a spike in cryptocurrency mining. But thank you very much, Dar, for donating. Phil Spencer said that the CPUs were a bottleneck too. Well, you have Ubisoft that came out and said it. I don't know. I'd like to get my hands. I could do here. I haven't looked at because I haven't had time. The new Ryzen CPUs. Do they work in current AM4 sockets, or do you have to get a new motherboard for them to work? I'm not even sure. I haven't looked into them. I mean, I'm very happy with the previous generation Ryzen. Like, I have a portable computer in a Leon Lee case with a Ryzen 7 1800X and a 1080 Ti with 16 gigs of RAM. It's a little portable beast. Lycon Zero, you answered my speed question in the chat. Thank you for the donation. I'll look it up now. This limitation is due to the line amplifiers that are used in the coaxial part of the network, which only support the upstream path from 5 to 54 megahertz. This unfortunately won't change unless you live in one of the new fiber deep areas, which have no amplifiers and are set up to have 8 upstream carriers from the start. Interesting. Okay. Now Lycon is the reason why that uh, Fios doesn't have that issue because they ground up their fiber. Is that why? Yes, the PS5 is going to have basically a first generation Ryzen processor in it, which is fine. You'll have an 8-core, 16-thread processor in there, and I can tell you but I know Ryzen's AM4, but with the new 2000 series Ryzen processors work with AM4 motherboards. So yes, they work in the old ones. Okay, good. Maybe I will pop one in. I'll have that little rig. I should show it off in a stream. I'd probably make a video. I can't make a video now on it, but no, I don't think the 8th generation lasted too long. I do think the reason why we've seen these mid-gen refreshes is just because the 8th gen console started out way too anemic from the get-go. I would have to make sure the BIOS is updated, obviously, though, because if you try to, I've known many people who've updated my motherboard will work with these new processors that came out from Intel or AMD, and then they put them in, and there's nobody home because they needed to update the BIOS first, and the only way you can update the BIOS is if you have a compatible processor in there. Calance W. Thank you for donating. What were your original thoughts on The Last of Us 2 E3 trailer? This one that we saw now, well, previous stuff I've seen, I wasn't impressed with it. But the gameplay I saw from E3 2018 blew me away and finally sold me on it. And I wasn't on board with it initially. I think the next Xbox and PS5 are going to be minus like that, because I know they're doing the whole thing where VR is going to be baked in at the hardware level on the PS5. I'm hoping what that means is they're going to have some kind of wireless VR technology in it. Because, I mean, I'm not really a huge fan of VR to begin with, but if they want VR to take off, they have to, excuse me, they have to make it more convenient, because that giant octopus that has to come out of your PS4 now to do VR is ridiculous. I don't think COD should die out. I think COD, I think it needs to take a break, kind of like what they did with Assassin's Creed. That's what I think. I think that's what they need to do. What's up, James? Do you think it's better to upgrade the RAM from 8 to 16 gigabytes or adding SSD for video editing? Hate to say it, 3 pods you need. I know it's kind of, I'm asking you to empty out your wallet, but you kind of need both. You need a fast drive, and you need to have, I would say, 16 gigs. You could barely get away with 8 to video edit it, but having 16 would be ideal. Not even ideal. In my opinion, it's required. Connor, what's going on, my friend? Review Hurricane Harvey USA. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the supply drops either. I think those will go too. When you move to Vermont, you can come by and stay high. You've been watching me since 2012, man. It's 6 years. Thank you very much. I owe you. Thank you very much, man. I do appreciate that. I wouldn't wait for next gen consoles if you want to get into 4K. Get whatever. Get a PS4 Pro or get an Xbox One X. Yeah, 16 is becoming new standard whether you're just gaming or whatever anyway. I wouldn't go below 16 gigabytes for anything now. I really wouldn't. TechBit. Why doesn't Google spread fiber to more places? Probably because there's some kind of shitty, unethical business practices go on that my corrupt government supports. That's why. It's that simple, really, unfortunately, TechBit. Yeah, there was a lot of people, man. There was a lot of people. Yeah, but like on Google got the money to support fiber. They got money. Is Seltzer the I love Seltzer. I would totally if Seltzer Company wanted me to sponsor me. Because I'm on a laptop and my mic is too close to it. I'm sorry. Let me move that. There we go. I didn't fart. I didn't fart. I admit to when I mute my farts. Be interesting to see how much storage they put in next gen consoles. I'm thinking that they should have like 4 terabytes. They're probably going to try to eke away with 2 or 3 though. Well, if the mic was in the wrong spot, I can't personally hear it because I'm not. If the mic was in the wrong spot, the fans on gaming laptops, no matter how hard they try, always get loud. K flannel shirt guy 69, and he has a picture of Scares. Oh my god. Oh, these names. I gave my PS4 away to a family member, but they are really cool games coming out. Should I buy a new one or just wait till the PS5 I play on PC and Switch, but for the new console, for the exclusives? I would say just buy a base model, man. If you don't care about the 4K, I mean, if you do, I wouldn't. Sony themselves says there's another 3 years of the current generation for them. That's quite. I think that's if you want to invest in a PS4, you still think it's a valid thing to do. Rich, I think you should reenact Tourette's guy bits. No, they cannot have. That would. There would be riots in the streets if they had a 500 gig PS5 model. Yes, the PS5 and the next Xbox will be 110% backwards compatible, without a doubt. Because now because they're going to stick to the x86 architecture, you're just going to have more powerful consoles. It's kind of like going from the PS5 from the PS4 is just going to be like upgrading your PC. It's going to be like you took your PC and put a Ryzen 7 2700X in there. You upgraded from the 1700 to the 2700X, and you upgraded from a GTX 970 to a GTX 1080. All your games would work with that. Basically, the new consoles are going to be the same thing because they're going to be x86 processors, and they're just going to be more powerful GPUs. You're not even going to need emulation; they're just going to run. So they're going to be 110% backwards compatible. Loaf of Zoph, thank you for donating. Hi, Rich. I watched you all the way through high school. I think the first video I saw was in 2013. That's when I first started doing YouTube full time. At first, I thought you were a fat jackass. Thank you. But over the years, you've become my favorite YouTuber. Keep it up. Thank you, man. Hey, I'm glad I won you over. My fat sexiness sold you. No, I appreciate that, though, man. Hey, there's nothing wrong with honesty. There's absolutely nothing wrong with honesty. You know what's interesting, though? How much, I can't guess this one. How much RAM, system memory, is the PS5 going to have? Because usually, Sony, like clockwork, has always, for each next gen system, if I could talk, always going by the rule of 16. The next gen system always had 16 times the system memory of the previous gen. So let's go back in time. The original PlayStation, the PS1, had 2 megabytes of system memory. Whopping 2 megabytes. The PlayStation 2 had 32 megabytes of RD-RAM, or system memory. So it was 16 times the memory of the PlayStation 1. The PlayStation 3, now granted there were 2 separate banks of memory. The cell processor had 256 megabytes of XD-RAM, I believe it was called. And the GPU, the NVIDIA GPU in the PS3 had 256 megabytes of GDDR3. But again, it had combined was 512 megabytes. That's 16 times the amount of RAM that was in the PS2. The PS4 has 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is 16 times the amount of system memory that's in the PS3. If you do the math, 16 times the memory of the PS4 would be 128 gigabytes. 128 gigabytes. I just can't picture, even in 2021, that amount of system memory being necessary for a console. I see more so maybe 32 gigs, maybe 64 gigs of system memory, but 128 gigs, even in 2021, that's a lot, man. That's a lot. So, I don't know, though, because Sony stuck to that rule of 16 since the beginning. But times have changed where you don't always have to make that big of a jump. Like even 32 gigabytes is like the operating system. It's not like it's Windows 10. It's the operating system for consoles is just very streamlined and made for gaming and having like Netflix on it. So it could run on like 2 gigs of system memory. So you'd have 30 gigs of system memory to run the game, which is more than enough to run a 4K 60 FPS game. Yeah, I agree with you guys. There's no way. There's no way it would be 128 gigabytes. That's insane. Yeah, memory is different now. That's true. Maybe 64. But even then, I don't even think that's necessary. I think they're going to be cheap asses, though, review Hurricane Harvey USA. I think they're going to be cheap asses and still put a mechanical drive in there. I'm thinking 32. Maybe, like I said, max 64, but I don't even think they'll do that. I agree with you guys, 32. I'm just saying, if you look at history, Sony has always added with each new system 16 times the amount of system memory. This will be with the PS5. It'll be the first time they broke that, which I think they're going to do. Sega bought Ouya confirmed. God, the Ouya. I was so up that thing's ass when it first was announced. I still think the price of next gen will be like $399. It'll start at that. Xbox One X is 12, right? Need a lot more than that. But the thing is, you don't though, because really what's holding back this generation, Ron, is the anemic processors, those Jaguar cores, because even in the Xbox One X, yeah, they retooled it with, they added some extra things with DirectX 12 to streamline the how efficient the processor is in the Xbox One X, but it's still a Jaguar processor, just overclocked, and that's held back the current generation of consoles quite a bit. And even stat with that, there's a lot of games they get running at 4K on the Xbox One. So yeah, they're both gonna have the old. You know why they're gonna have Review Hurricane Harvey USA? You know why they're gonna have the Ultra HD drives? Not for the movies. Fine, whatever, you can play a 4K movie. Who gives a shit? Well, I personally don't. I shouldn't say you guys don't give a shit. But because those Ultra HD Blu-rays can hold more data than a basic Blu-ray, and they'll want it for that. Yeah, 128 would be expensive. I don't see them continuing that rule of 16 thing with next gen Sony consoles. It isn't practical. It's not practical. Yes, he confirmed they're working on a new console. He said he did that because he said too many people are speculating that Microsoft is getting out of the console space. I still think that was a weird thing to do when they just launched the Xbox One X, but that's just me. Luna White Wolf, what's going on? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how much RAM they put in next gen because, like I said, Sony has always added 16 times the amount of system memory to every next gen system. It's been without fail. That they have not wavered from that. The PS5 will be the first time they did that, but I just can't picture the PlayStation 5 having 128 gigs of RAM. That would be, and if they do it, man, I'm just gonna shit my pants. Like if they announce at E3 like next year that the PS5 is gonna have 128 gigs of RAM, I will probably shit myself live on stream. Just warning you now. 348 Frank 348, that cringe at E3. Yeah, there was so much cringe, man. EA's especially when they were playing that online game Command and Conquer. They were playing that, and they had those two guys come out playing like a match on their smartphones. That was the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life. Thank you, 348, for donating. Vampire Rockstar. Thank you for donating too. SJWs don't play these games or watch movies, so there's no need to cater to them. Ghostbuster, Mass Effect, Andromeda, Solo, and Ocean's 8 bomb because of their propaganda, and so will Battlefield 5. But I don't think Battlefield 5 is going SJW, man. I really don't. They have a woman in the game. I don't really think it's that big of a deal. I thought Ocean's 8 did well. Mass Effect Andromeda was just a shit game. Ghostbusters was a shit movie. Ghostbusters, they kind of did the SJW agenda thing, but Mass Effect Andromeda just sucked. Solo, I'm not sure what that is. Ocean's 8, I heard, did well. But I don't think Battlefield 5, I think people are overreacting to that, man. I do appreciate your donation, but I think people are overreacting to Battlefield 5. I really do. I'm sticking to my guns on that one. Mr. Smiles Camp, thank you for donating. Gaming laptop over desktop, want portability and can play anything else that will run on the PS4. Also, iOS mobile game recommendations. I don't know. I generally don't like playing games on my smartphone. I got to keep it real with you. Touch screens make me angry. I I will say, I mean, it's tough for me to say this because I have the option of a gaming desktop and a laptop, but I love like this. I have this. It's expensive. I have this Gigabyte Aero 15X, and it has the 6-core Intel processor and the 1070 Max Q, and it's a little bit thicker than a tablet, like a iPad Pro, and to have that amount of power and so much in something that's so portable is amazing. It's thin. It fits in any laptop case. If I need it, I need a powerhouse on the go to edit 4K video or game. It's right here. Does pretty decent 4K gaming too. So I would say, especially if you're younger, like say in your late teens, early 20s, and you're in college or something like that, I would get a gaming laptop. And the nice thing, you don't this laptop's expensive. I wouldn't recommend it for you, but the Intel i7-8750H processor, which is 6 core, 12 threads, you could get in a $800 laptop with like a 1050 Ti, which I don't know how much you want to. I don't know what kind of GPU you want. You can get them fairly affordable, and they're also thin as well. So you can have this little powerhouse with you wherever you go for not an insanely mind-numbing amount of money. So thank you, Mr. Smiles Cam, for donating. I hope we don't. I hope that TV companies don't already start. People are just starting to embrace 4K. I don't think we're ready. We're not ready. We're not ready for 8K yet. We're not. They may do emulation, Renray. They'll do emulation, but it won't be like natively compatible. I'm running an Alienware R7 laptop, i7-7820HK. Still a good processor, 4 cores, 8 threads. GTX 1080 picked it up during the last Black Friday. That's a good 4K gaming laptop. I had a rig with the similar specs for a while. I had a MSI with that processor and that 1080, man. Yeah, it ate anything that came its way. It was actually better at gaming than the 1070 Max Q that I have in this thing. Laszlo Jones, thank you for donating. Do you think the anti-SJW are getting just as sensitive SJWs? Yes. Aside from E3, I saw a video on SJW moments in Infinity War, and it was so dumb. Yes. Everyone is trying to get offended by something, no matter what side of the political spectrum they're on, and it's driving me insane. People are overthinking way, way, way too much. Thank you, Laszlo Jones, for donating. Yeah, people just need to not sweat. Like Gears of War 5, even though it has a female lead character, looks fine. It doesn't look like they're trying to shove propaganda down your throat. She's just a female. Who cares? The game's good. The game's good. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? TechBit, thank you for donating. Will you be getting an Asus PG27UK 4K at 444 hertz? Oh, really? Not right now because my money is going to plenty of other places. But yes, I want a 4K HDR monitor. That's what I want big time. Thank you very much for donating. I do appreciate it. Guys, I'll be back in I should say like a minute. I gotta use the little boy's room for a second, okay? Be right back. I'm back. Oh, I am back. I am back. Hold on. Hello. No, man. Nature called. It called. It yelled. It screamed. Now, nature. I'll tell you one thing, man. And if they wanted to sponsor me too, I would take their sponsorship in a heartbeat. Poopery is your friend. Do you guys know what poopery is? Oh yeah, my hands are washed. Yep. Well, I washed my hands. That's the liquid that you heard. I'm telling you, man, poopery is your friend. It literally makes sure your shit doesn't stink. What it is this spray that before you gotta go, without going into detail, you spray 6 squirts on the toilet water. And what it does is when you poop, it makes sure it basically encapsulates the smell, so your whole house doesn't smell like your ass. And it works. It straight up fucking works. Why did my stream drop to 30 FPS? Oh, that's the worst, man. Sorry, I mean to be off camera. That's the worst when you go into a nasty, or the nastiest bathrooms are like hole in the wall gas stations. You don't penetrate the entire house, but everyone's shit stinks. I don't know anyone's shit that smells like potpourri. Yeah, how much is that monitor? I meant to check that video from Lions. Yes, the one wipe Charlies are excellent. How do we? Well, I know how we got in this conversation, my dumbass, but well, the thing about me is that my fiance could smell a mosquito fart from a different country. So anytime anyone uses the bell, oh, it stinks, oh, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, you know what? I'm getting poopery. We got poopery, and she hasn't complained since. SWW Productions, thank you for donating. Hi, Rich. I played Super Castlevania back in the day in 1991. That's awesome. Man, such a great game, man. Haha, keep up the great work. Yeah. God, I got that game. I remember. First off, thank you for the donation, SWW. I got that game. That was Christmas break of 91. I was in 5th grade. 91 going into 92. And that was the Sunday before, that was the last day of our break, was that Sunday. And I remember going to the mall with my mom, and she let me get one more Super Nintendo game because I got Super Nintendo that Christmas. And the game I got was Super Castlevania 4. And I was so, I remember, like, I didn't even want to eat dinner. That's coming from a little fat kid. Didn't want to eat dinner because I loved the game that much. And I was pissed I had to go to school the next day because all I wanted to do was play Super Castlevania 4 because I got it the day before we went back from Christmas break. Corey DeLuna, my shit smells like peaches. LOL. Man, if your shit smells like peaches, that is something that you probably should call CNN about. You might be featured. Yeah, but Febreze is like, but thank you, Corey, for donating too, my friend. Febreze is like, it's like putting flowers on top of shit. Like you still smell the shit through the Febreze. No, I do not eat McDonald's every day. My ass would explode every day if I ate McDonald's every day. I assure you, I do not eat McDonald's every day. Thank you, Sean, for the new campaign ad. I don't, yeah, I don't like Febreze, man. Well, I love Devolver Digital's Toilet Duck. I love their show. And that game, people keep reminding me of the name of it. I can't remember it. Where it would look like a 2D, had like bullet time in 2D. I can't wait for that, and that's coming to Switch too. That's gonna be sweet. If you only eat guavas, your fart smells like what? Your shit smells like guavas. Yeah, I wonder what they're gonna call the next. I know it's called Project Scarlet right now. I wonder what they're gonna call the next generation Xbox though, like the actual name. That'll be interesting. That'll be very interesting. I think Devil May Cry looks awesome. I just don't like the way. I think it's Nero. I don't like the they make him look like he's in a boy band. Yes, I played plenty of Borderlands 2. Couldn't get into the pre-sequel though. Quick builds, MHW, Richie. Richie, thank you for donating, my friend. I appreciate it. My friend Pedro. I'm gonna like tattoo that on my head so I remember the name of that damn game. I don't know. I got to see more of Cyberpunk 2077. Hmm? What? Okay, awesome. Okay. Dante kind of looks like Milo Yiannopoulos. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Thank you, Max. EA has to prove themselves. I don't think they're down and out though. You realize they could see you on camera, do you, right? Well, now you do. Is that Mrs. USA? Yes, it is. See, it's weird. I'm looking at the screen. I got to fix where my webcam is next time. Or I don't know if I can. I got to try to fix it. What platformer? That's a tough one. I haven't played a platformer on PC in a while. Man, doing this. Like I said, like love story, unless they're like absolutely truly tie in and benefit the story of a game, I don't want any kind of romance or sex in my game. I just don't care. I don't care if it's man on man, woman on woman. It just, I'm not there. I'm there to play the game, you know. Oh, I agree that Nintendo's E3 was disappointing. I said that earlier on. How is Yooka-Laylee? I heard they improved it. I heard at first it sucked, but Sean, I saw what you wrote. Yeah, they just overdid the Smash, man. Nintendo has to realize their main goal is to bring in new customers. I mean, obviously, show Smash. Smash, was a huge title, but they should have showed more IPs. And I still think Nintendo should aggressively be trying to get even more third party support. Yeah, I want to see Metroid Prime 4. I definitely do. I think GTA 6 will definitely be next gen. I don't think we're going to see it on current gen consoles. Is he? I have to really look into that more, ABO. We Fit. God, I remember those were dark days for Nintendo, even though they were making a lot of money. Nier Automata on the Switch. That I would like to see run on there. That would be interesting. Sony gave like zero release dates. Oh, Connor, I just said that. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Which Fatal End, the Switch could definitely handle a Fallout 3 or New Vegas port. Absolutely. Fallout 76, looks like another Fallout game. I'm happy it's not an MMO. Well, that ABO, that was the thing they said when I was, complaining about motion controls. Is that, oh, you don't like motion controls because you have to move. I'm like, no. I'm fine with motion controls when they're implemented well, but a lot of games for the Wii, and many people agree, were gimmicks. But when they were done right, yeah, they were great. But the problem is that a lot of people were just trying to cash in on the motion controls, and it made it very gimmicky. That has nothing to do with me being a fat ass, but that was the thing that was used against me when I said that. Yeah, and Sean, was in a dark place between 2009 2014. I would actually make that 2009. I would make that like 2006 to 2017. But Doom Eternal looks amazing. Stimson J Cat, nice name by the way. Ren and Stimpy there. Did he really? Kojima told Young Ye that Sony didn't like the Death Stranding presentation due to lack of gameplay. And you know what? They're right. If that's the case, they're right. Ninth gen. Well, they're saying that the PS5 is going to have VR tech baked into the motherboard, so I'm guessing so. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have to go help the wife with the children and do a couple of. I got to start actually working on my that next big video I'm working on more so too. So it was great that all of you came through, whether you were in the regular chat or super chat. All of you here supporting the show is absolutely amazing. I always like to say that and make sure you all know that you're appreciated. Um, I will see you tomorrow with that video talking about next gen consoles, and I hope you all have an awesome weekend. I'll see you soon.